Rush Limbaugh died today at the age of 70. Tonight we look back at his amazing life and career. We're also talking to a country music star who remembers Rush as a giving man, showing us another side of the radio host giant that most people never got to see. But first, this is how the world found out about Limbaugh's passing. His wife, Catherine, took to the mic in place of her husband.
It is with profound sadness I must share with you directly that our beloved Rush, my wonderful husband, passed away this morning due to complications from lung cancer. As so many of you know, losing a loved one is terribly difficult. Even more so when that loved one is larger than life.
Something else, larger than life indeed. At the peak of his show, Rush was carried on about 600 radio stations, listened to by more than 20 million people. Think about how big of an audience that is. There's no telling how many conservatives Rush created. As a kid, I remember listening to Rush Limbaugh in the car with my dad for years. I didn't have much of an idea what he was talking about, but I did like to listen, and I liked his voice. Limbaugh changed the way Americans listen to radio. Remember this? Check out this headline. 1993, LA Times. So-called rush rooms were a thing in restaurants and bars across the country. Many ate their lunch and hung out with strangers listening to the Rush Limbaugh show being piped in. Fax machines set up so you could fax questions and comments into the show before we had all these phones. Limbaugh, of course, was very bold as a radio host. That was a lot of the fun of it, right? To hear what he was going to say next. It started with how he talked about himself. Most of us now remember this very famous line.
Talent on loan from God.
Nobody else could get away with saying something like that, except maybe former President Trump, of course. And tonight, our Greg Kelly talked to Mr. Trump about Limbaugh's passing. It was a great conversation. If you missed it, we've got it on the website. Greg asked if Trump would ever consider taking over Rush's spot at the mic.
There's a lot of people are mentioning that, and no, it's not anything I've thought about. But he'd be a hard one to replace. You know, we talked to a friend of yours, Sean Hannity. He said he's irreplaceable, and I view that too. I say he's irreplaceable. But people, that is one of those little things that keeps popping up. But you wouldn't want to follow Rush. You know, it's the old story. You get somebody like that, you don't want to follow him because some things just can't be done. He was unique.
Certainly was. But for a second, can you imagine the explosion on the left if Donald Trump actually was live on the radio for 3 hours a day? The media would pretend to be outraged, but secretly, of course, they would love it. They're missing their muse right now, as we can all tell. It sounds like, though, the former president has other plans. We'll see what they are. No one will forget the moving tribute that the president gave to Rush Limbaugh as he awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
He is the greatest fighter and winner that you will ever meet. Rush Limbaugh, thank you for your decades of tireless devotion to our country.
Something else to see him there. Really something. That was a moment. The current president hasn't said anything yet about the passing of Rush Limbaugh today. His spokesperson was asked about it. Here it is.
I don't know that I anticipate a statement from the president, but I can certainly pass on his condolences and expression of support for the family.
Not much of a statement there, as expected. Without Rush, though, there'd be no Newsmax. There'd be no Fox News, many other conservative outlets pushing back on the insidious liberal agenda that plagues every bit of our mainstream media. He started it all. Like Rush said, end results that work that don't involve government threaten liberals. Those are the stories that Rush Limbaugh loved to tell. Those are the stories Newsmax loves to tell. Those are the stories that don't sit well with all those who think that big government has all the answers. Rush would be the first to tell you that he wasn't perfect, though. Remember the time ESPN wanted a piece of Rush Limbaugh? He was a sports announcer on Sundays. Didn't work out in the end. Rush told it like he saw it, and it was too much for the PC world of professional sports. Here he is talking about quarterback Donovan McNabb.
I think the media has been very desirous that a black quarterback do well. We're interested in black coaches and black quarterbacks doing well. I think there is a little hope invested in McNabb, and he got a lot of credit for the performance of this team that he really didn't deserve. The defense, the defense carried this team, I think, and he got credit for it.
Somebody went to those championship games.
It's back in 2003. Rush lasted only about 4 weeks on ESPN before he went back to doing what he does best. Around that time, Rush had another problem, an addiction to prescription painkillers, one that he said he developed after unsuccessful back surgery. Listen to what he said to his followers after emerging from a 4-week-long treatment program.
I tried to treat myself twice for my addiction. I detoxed myself twice and tried to do it by force of will, which is not possible. This is something someone cannot do alone. It's something that requires several things to change in my life. And those things are good. These things are quite necessary, and I have to put this recovery that I am in first and foremost.
First and foremost, a talent like no other, a humbling moment there. A dedication to the truth, to his craft, an incredible storyteller who changed conservative media forever. Maybe he really created it. We're never going to forget Rush Limbaugh around here.
Hi, Emma Reckenberg here. If you like this video, there's a whole lot more to see on Newsmax TV. You can watch for free right here on our YouTube live stream and be the first one here each time our experts break down real news. Just hit that subscribe button, ring the bell icon, and stay with us on America's fastest growing cable news channel, Newsmax TV.